Someone's
Who's
got to host
hosting?
it. You.
Oh, right. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Welcome to ABW, Bergkamp Wonderland transfer deadline day roundup. No idea what's happening. I wasn't listening to Danny. I do apologize. I haven't even got the box up. I don't know what's going on. But here we are. We're here to talk about transfer deadline day, which has been the ultimate letdown. A fake bid for Dembele, and that's about it, apparently. But with me tonight, we have Danny, the GFP. Say hello, Danny.
Oh, I'm so tired, Jace. Look, I've done so much work today. I got up at 11:30. I can barely keep my eyes open.
Well, I'll tell you what, get yourself in a gear and get a Twitter thing and get a tweet ready for the boys to retweet, please, because we've only got 15 people in this chat box, and that's just not good enough.
I just didn't put your names in it because you were busy shouting at us about old people and bikes, and I was scared. I'm on it. I know.
Get on with it.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Also, we have Josh Daw. Say hello, Josh.
Hey, Jace. How's it going?
You're awfully perky there. You sound very radio-ish.
Thank you.
You know, smashy and nicey. I'm all right, thanks, pal. Well, I'm not happy, actually. I'm not happy, but we'll get to that later.
I know. I poked it
already. Good man. Also, we have Ellis Mel. Say hello, Ellis.
Hello. You right?
Is it me you're looking for?
Probably not.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm glad about that, mate. You okay?
Yeah, good man, good man. It's been raining in Norwich, which is nice change, a bit cooler now, which is lovely. Missed it.
Oh, nice. Okay, you can have a wash at last. That's lovely for you. Well done. And last but not least, we have the man himself. It's John Welsh. Say hello, John.
Hello, Jace. How are you, my friend?
I'm glad you're on because these three guys are doing my head in.
Have you been enjoying the Gay Rights Thomas celebrations in Cardiff today?
No. I had a pair of helicopters drowning out the fucking noise, so I couldn't hear a thing. Old people and cyclists everywhere doing my head in. Just getting in the way of everything, so I could hardly see anything. And I went home. And then they bothered me on my way home then. Not happy. That wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. So, right, who we got in the box? We have Kris Lodato, Nicky Wilson, Archie, Stan the Man, 450, Akib Alias, Pat Brady, 95 Winston. Oh, look at them all there. Mayank Nagendran is there. MJL is there. Hello, guys. Thunder Road's there. How the devil are we all? We all good? Excellent. I'm glad that's a yes, I take it. Okay, I have no real idea what's happened to the transfer deadline day today.
Nothing.
That's what I thought. Apparently, we placed I saw a report on Twitter that we placed £100 million bid for Dembele. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, Josh, how much crap is that?
I think it's very much like deja vu from the last transfer deadline day, where we also tried to put £100 million on another Frenchman, and Lamar didn't end up coming. So, yeah, I think it's a similar kind of deal that you're like, it's too little, too late. Was it the window before that? We tried to put £160 million down on another Frenchman who turned out to be the golden ball or golden boy at the World Cup in Mbappe. I think I've kind of stopped listening to when we're dropping big money on French wingers.
To be fair, you know, to the Arsenal media team, whoever's leaking this nonsense, and Ivan, stop trying to pull our plonkers. We don't buy it. We know you're full of shit. Stop it. Just stop it. We don't care. We knew you weren't going to buy anybody. Stop being assholes about it.
We want no more audacious stunt.
Yeah. Should we just end the show there? There's nothing to talk about. You know, it's done. We've gone over this.
Just do what we usually do after the podcast ends, and we sit here for 2 hours talking about nonsense.
Okay, right. So, Josh, you know, I'll come back to you before I go to the other guys. So, a lot of crap about the Dembele business. Who should we have brought in today?
I don't think today was about incomings, to be honest. I thought it was about outgoings. We saw Lucas Perez leave to go to West Ham, join up with Jack Wilshere. I think that we will eventually see the likes of Jenko and Ospina go to the respective, quality of leagues that are still open at this time. Don't forget, guys, that the EFL doesn't close its window fully today. You can still get a loan deal with, you can put into it, they've got to buy him in January if he turns up to the club to sign his loan deal kind of clause in it. So you can, make a bit of fun out of the whole fact it doesn't close properly from that respect. And yeah, we're going to see Ospina go out. But otherwise, to be honest, at face value, for what we needed, we brought everything in pretty early. Torreira was the last man to really come in. And yeah, I'm fairly happy with the face value. We've looked at the weaknesses we had and we addressed them.
Really? I'll come back to that a little later.
The personnel that we may have brought in, some may not be desired.
No. You've had your chance. Stop. You've had your chance.
Okay.
Ellis, your turn now. It's your turn, Ellis. What do you think of what Josh has just said? Feel free to stab him in the back.
I can't possibly fathom who he may have been hinting at, or who you may have been hinting at, who might not be good enough for the current squad. But yeah, I'm not going to stab him in the back. I think it's quite obvious that anyone who's watched any pre-season games will have some issues regarding Socrates. Again, it is just pre-season, but he hasn't looked great. A lot of us are quite frustrated with the fact that Chambers has gone to Fulham, and you look at Socrates and you just think, But like Josh said, we got all our business done quite early on, which is why I think there was never really going to be anything done today. I mean, we can all live and hope that something bad's going to happen, but I don't think many of us really thought it was going to happen. But we have addressed many areas. Again, centre-back is probably the only thing that we've all been sort of left wondering why we're still scrambling around for a centre-back, why have we loaned out Chambers when we haven't brought in someone else. Obviously, there's I think someone's mentioned in the chat box earlier about the chap that went to Leicester, who we were linked with. I think he went to them for 20 million, the Turkish guy. I'm not going to try and say his name, I'll probably murder it. But yeah, I think other than, obviously, our mate Socrates, whatever you want to say, the people we brought in, I've been quite happy with. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. We'll wait and see on Sunday how well he performs in that centre-back role.
Okay, cool. Dan, okay, very different to previous transfer deadline days, other than the fact there's no action on it. We're looking at this now, obviously, we addressed the midfields with Jack going out and Guendouzi and Torreira coming in. For you, are you happy with what's happened there? Or do you feel there's, the club could have done more in that area?
Oh, I'm quite happy. I mean, it would have been nice if we have got another centre-back of some kind of stature, someone who's quite good at the top. But then again, a defender centre-back like that is going to cost you a lot of money. And it's going to be no coincidence that Wenger and Emery have both sent Chambers out on loan, both to newly promoted teams from the Championship. He was at Middlesbrough, he was doing well. They moved him from centre-back to right-back, and then they changed to 3 at the back, and then he was playing back at centre-back again. So they must know something we don't. I've always been quite impressed with him. I'd have thought that Holding...
Mate, seriously, okay? We brought Socrates in. They know nothing about that we don't, okay? On my life, stop it. Just stop giving any credit here at the moment, because this is...
We've got Aubameyang and Lacazette and Ozil and Mkhitaryan. We're going to win every game 5-4. There you go. That's the answer you want, and that's what's going to happen. Fuck defending. Rush goalkeeper. Jumpers for goalposts. We're done.
Okay, but you happy with midfield?
Well, we'll be if Ramsey signs a new deal. Hopefully, there'll just be a sign. Like in the old days, someone would give you a check for your birthday, and then you just sign the back of the check and you give it to somebody else. And so, what I think they've done, they got Lucas's wages. And they've just signed the back of it to Aaron, please stay, and then they're giving it along with his own wages every week. So hopefully, that'll be enough to keep him at the club. And maybe they might have to take Ospina's off him and give him that to him. So just give him whatever he wants to make sure that he stays. Sell everybody. Just play Ramsey on his own. No, I don't need any other players. That's what I want. Play Ramsey in goal. Just don't let him leave. We brought no one in. There's no excuse for it now. We've cleared up plenty of wages. We've only spent, I think we've had 8 million in and about 68 million pound out. And so that's a 60, I don't have to tell you how that works, but yeah, so we're 60 million pound down, and we were already told this season it would be 50 million pound down, a 50 million pound kitty. So they can afford to pay his wages. Get it done.
John, bring some sense
I've
into
just
this.
been nice about Ramsey, and you're giving me the old Gruffalo. What have I done?
I mean, I'm genuinely in that sort of mood tonight.
So, leaves.
Sorry if I upset anyone. No, I don't care really. John, okay. Danny's spoken about the midfield. We've addressed that area now. We brought Lichtsteiner in, and we've brought Socrates in.
Yeah, I don't understand the Callum Chambers thing at all. The loan, it's weird because last season he signed a contract extension, which initially looked like they were just doing it so they could keep his value and then sell him. Then he signs a new contract 4 weeks ago, and Emery says he's a key part of my plans for the coming season. And now he's gone out on loan to Fulham, and apparently the club was looking at possibly getting in another centre back. I don't know who's making the decisions anymore. Is Emery actually happy with Callum Chambers, and it's Sven and Roll who want Callum out of the club and they want someone else to come in, so they need to move him out so whoever this other centre back that we were apparently looking at might have had a space. I think the fact we've only got 5 is a worry for me. Mavropanos, he's...
Well, no, we haven't even got 5, have we? We haven't even got 5.
We've got Socrates. So we've got Socrates, Mustafi, Holding, Mavropanos, Koscielny.
And you've got Koscielny. Okay. And Koscielny
doesn't start training until, Christmas, probably.
Yeah, the injury he's had, is horrendous. And he was struggling before this injury. So let's be fair, you can't count on him this season. No matter how hard he tries to get back. So we're going into the season with 4 centre-backs, one in Holding, who regressed last season, who had a really tough time after a very strong initial season with us. Mavropanos, who he's had 3 games for us?
Probably not even that. It doesn't. No, he hasn't had that many in minutes. No, but he's very young.
You got Mustafi, the fans' favourite boo boy, who I quite like. I just think he needs a better structure around him. And then you got Socrates, who, let's be honest, if you're 5 yards off the pace in a fucking pre-season warm-up, you ain't the best player in the world. In fact, here we go, he's dog shit. Okay? Right on? And at the end of the season, if he's had a wonderful season, come back at me. Right on? But genuinely, this guy is shit. And if you're bringing a player in, like it's been suggested, he'll be good to help Mavropanos come through. For 18 million quid, I'd have done it.
Yeah,
and then letting Chambers go on loan, who was our best centre back at the end of last season.
I think
talk to me.
I think the one thing is this squad had a lot of issues when Emery came in, and we're not sure exactly how much say and input he has in to what goes on with transfers. We don't know how much of that is done above him, or if he just suggests certain players and then he has to leave it to everyone else on whether they get them or not. And if they can't, they get a replacement. You're never going to fix it in one transfer window.
I disagree with you. Can I challenge you on that before I go across to Josh?
Okay.
The only issue this squad had, was defence. Right?
I don't think it was just defence. He had no other goalkeeper. You had Czech, who you knew was a good goalkeeper, but clearly he had issues.
That's because the defence were letting so many shots a game.
Yeah, partly, but also I think he slipped and had a decline. But, they changed the goalkeeping coach, and that seems to have helped, at least in pre-season. Yeah. He didn't have any competition, which they've improved. The defence obviously was the big problem. This is the first time Torreira is hopefully the, Gilberto Silva replacement we haven't done for 10 plus years. Basically, he's never been replaced up until now. It looks like, at least. And I still think we're short one creative player in the final third, whether that be a wide man or, whatever. So I don't think you can make that many moves in one transfer window, especially when it's a new manager coming in with the squad. And, you've got to give him time to learn
Okay.
what the players are like and you can do. And I'm not using that as an excuse. That doesn't excuse loaning out Callum Chambers. That makes no sense.
That's fine, pal. That's fine. We'll leave that there, okay? We'll come back to that in a bit, okay? Josh. Arsene Wenger's gone. Same old story. We got a donkey in defence, okay? And we let an up-and-coming young star sort of go out. Does it annoy you, or how do you see it differently?
Were we going to fix that defence in 6 weeks of pre-season? Bearing in mind, it hasn't been a great defence for about 8 years, at least.
I disagree with you. We will have been. Okay, so...
Okay, when was the last time we had a decent defence?
Sorry. I'm about to tell you. Okay, so season before last, we went 17 games unbeaten. We hardly let any goals in. And then it fell apart. Okay, with Per and Koscielny there about 4 or 5 years ago, we also went a stupid amount of games unbeaten. So we know we've had the personnel over the years to be able to do it. It's been the setup that's cost us more than anything. So, let's not forget facts in all this. All Arsenal fans moan, we've never had this, we've never had that. Yet you don't go 17, 18 games unbeaten if you're bad players or if you're a bad defence. But again, I don't understand. You're letting a young English player, who was outstanding end of last season, go. And we brought this guy in who, let's be honest, looks slow, can't turn, way off the pace, no communication, doesn't know where he is.
Okay, so you were saying the system was the problem and not the personnel prior to that? Yeah. Because the system, okay, so we've got 3 months to change the system. And you've said the system has been there for a long time. That's been a problem. And we're now getting to solve it. The thing with Callum, what it tells me is we're now not going to see 3 at the back at all. Because 3 at the back, you need 5 centre-backs, 6 centre-backs in your squad to be able to do that. We've now got rid of, 1 centre-back on loan, Okay, maybe we wanted to get rid of another person and no one was going to come in for him. Rob Holding, the loans that we could have got him, probably not at the right standard for him. But what we've managed to do is let Callum Chambers go on loan and defend with a partner he already knows in Alfie Mawson at Fulham. So we're creating a combination there that we know he already knows. So we can look at his strengths from that kind of point of view. And we know he's going to get games. It's the same thing we did at Fulham. Not Fulham, Middlesbrough. He then played against or played with in a centre-back pairing. So this is us giving us good loan deals, which is something we've always criticised the club for.
So let's get this straight. You're happy seeing a player develop at Fulham when we're probably going to need him this season?
We're not going to need him this season because we've got enough cover in defence.
I will remember that.
You're going to say about the personnel. Yeah, we've got worst case scenario, Nacho Monreal. He can play left centre-back as cover. We've got him. Koscielny.
Yeah, can I just interrupt on the Nacho thing? The issue with that is Kolasinac is out for 8 to 10 weeks, and we're playing Maitland-Niles out of position at the moment to cover in at left back because Nacho isn't ready. If you then move Nacho into centre back, this is supposed to be a new sort of era and everything going forwards. We weren't supposed to be suffering these same problems of playing people out of position. It looked like it was going to be 2 players for each position. Now I know you can't. I know you can't caveat for the fact that Kolasinac got an injury. That's unfortunate. But if you're counting Monreal as another centre half, there's no reason to not keep Chambers. And I think also, the thing, like a lot of people in the chat are saying we've been a bit negative, and I agree. Like the transfer window, I think overall was pretty good. There was a few areas I would have liked fixed, and Socrates wasn't the centre back I would have gone for. I'll give him, some time into the season and see how he gets on because Emery's obviously new with the team as well. But just loaning Chambers out when you could have, say, you look at Mavropanos and I say, well, what games is he going to play? Is he going to play Europa League and FA Cup and stuff like that? Can Chambers not play that and also rotate in for Premier League games against the, sort of easier teams and that kind of thing? So you can save some of your bigger boys for the big games that you've got. I just think it was a strange decision. And I think it just shows up that at the moment, there's still not a clear, who's actually in charge and making final decisions and everything. Because if Emery's coming out and saying one thing 4 weeks ago and saying about how he's key to their future and he's got big plans for him this season, and then he goes out on loan, it doesn't make any sense. So has Emery loaned him out, or has Sven and Raul loaned Callum out? You know, there's not joined up thinking at the moment at the club, which might just be because of that power vacuum's gone and Arsenal's gone now, and people aren't quite sure of their place and everything. But that's something that definitely needs to be fixed.
Absolutely. Ellis. So okay. We've got issues at the back, and I don't think they're going to be changed anytime soon. Midfield, though, really positive in midfield. Torreira looked really good in the World Cup. Guendouzi, in his first couple of games in friendlies, has looked fantastic. Are you excited about this midfield?
Yeah, totally. Obviously, you've seen Bob Vape's comments in there about trying to get this back on a positive note. But yeah, I don't think you can be too negative about our midfield. Like, from what I've seen of Torreira when he's played for Uruguay in the World Cup this year, he looked really good. And again, Guendouzi, however you say his name, he's looked good as well. I think I don't want to put too much on the guy. He is very young. He has come from the French league, which we all know the quality of the French league, don't we? So it's going to be a big step up for him. But he has featured a lot over the pre-season, and every time he's played, he's looked good. He's looked like someone who wants to get the game going. He's moving the ball. He's getting involved. His work ethic I like a lot of. He's something that I think we've missed. He's quite tall as well, which is good. We've gone through the years of having these quite diminutive midfielders, and to have him come in, I know he brought Torreira in, who's very short, but with Guendouzi coming in, you've got someone who looks like he's got a bit of height about him, and obviously he's still growing and still maturing, but you'd like to think by the time he does get to like his peak, he'll be a big, strong unit in that midfield. I'm interested to see how we line up when everyone's fit. Obviously, Ramsey picked up that slight injury in pre-season, which is annoying and frustrating. But when you look at Xhaka, I think he improved a lot last season. I think he done well, and I think with someone like Torreira next to him, or maybe Guendouzi, he'll have a bit more freedom. He won't be tasked as protecting that back four as much, because I think that's something that he struggles to do. If he's got someone behind him doing that or next to him doing that, that will give him more sort of freedom to roam. So I think we've definitely improved in midfield there, and I'm excited to see how we line up. Obviously, City could be a bit different because of the injuries we've got, but I just hope we can sign Aaron Ramsey on, and that would make this window a lot better, in my opinion. If he leaves or doesn't sign a contract, then I wouldn't rate this window as highly as I could. But in terms of midfield, I think our midfield is up there to challenge for a top four spot this season, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're bang on. I've loved watching Guendouzi. I've got to be honest with you. And it's going to be interesting to see the battle for places in that midfield this season. Dan, what's also going to be interesting to see is the battle for places further up the pitch. You've got Lacazette, you've got Aubameyang, you've got Mkhitaryan, you've got Ozil. Now, he's only going to play 3 as a mark up top, unless he goes 4-2-3-1. But if he's going 4-3-3, as we kind of suspect he will in a lot of games, who's the odd man out? Who are the guys who don't play? Who are your starters and who are the guys who don't play?
I think it will vary from whether we're home or away and who we're playing against. Like in previous years, under previous managers, we have virtually played the same system all the time until there's been a crisis. And when there's been a crisis, completely change it. And I think we're going to see a little bit more settled and for a lot of the time. But when it needs to be, he'll change it. So we're not going to go and play a more defensive game when we're at home to one of the poorer teams, but we're also not going to go and play as open and attractive and as attacking football when we're playing away at some of the bigger teams, because that's usually where we fell, was when we're playing, as we all know, playing away at the big teams. And Wenger's record against the top six was always droned on about forever. Like he's got 1 point in 10 seasons against the top six teams or some nonsense like that. So I think that's where it's all going to change. Personally, I'd like to see them just go out and play all-out attacking football, but I think the manager's got more sense than to do that all the time. So it is going to be Aubameyang left, and it's going to be Lacazette in the centre on his own, Mkhitaryan right, Ozil behind them. So that's the front four. Then it's only going to be of the midfield ones. Well, you don't think Torreira is going to come to the club if he's not going to be playing all the time. So then it's going to be Torreira and plus one other. And I think it's that one other is going to be depending on who we're playing. If you can maybe have Xhaka, if he wants to do a little bit more of the not the defensive work, but the less creative work. I know I like Xhaka. I want to see him do well. But when we want to play a game, we're playing more expressive football, more attacking football. Maybe it'd be a Ramsey. And then if we're not, we want to shut up shop a little bit. Then maybe it might be a Xhaka, because you were saying, Jace, that you love the idea of Xhaka and Torreira and all these other players that we've got, the hard bastards. And maybe that's
no, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Wasn't it? You should have said it, because it's a good thing to say.
I got to be honest with you. I don't think there's any. That's not to stay away from hard bastards, because I don't think Jacques has proved anything. He's got sent off for silly challenges. No, they've been stupid challenges so far this season. They've not been nasty since he's come here. There's nothing been nasty about it. He's not flattened anybody as far as I can see. Lichtsteiner, I think he's got a bit about him. He's really nuts. But I think Jacques has kind of learned from it that season at Leverkusen, where was it Gladbach, wasn't it? Sorry.
Oh, you watch your mouth, Leverkusen.
I just can't remember. I just don't care about German football. I'm sorry,
but we all know it's going to be Özil playing behind the strikers. It's going to be Torreira there, and then in between there is going to be Ramsey if we're going to go more attacking. It's going to be Xhaka if we maybe do a little bit more. Not that he's a defending midfielder, but more defensive, and maybe it's going to be Guendouzi if we want a little bit of both. So we've got all the midfielders in there too. That's if Ramsey stays. But someone on the pod mentioned that maybe Ramsey wants to go because he sees himself as a 10. I don't personally see him as a 10.
Oh, Jesus. I'm not being funny. I'm sorry. This 10 business has carried on for years. He's never said he wanted to play 10.
I know. Jeez. I actually quoted you, Jason. I said when he said someone mentioned the fact that he said he wants to go and play for in Spain. I said no, he didn't. If Jason was here, I'm legally obliged to point out that that's not what he said. Someone said to him, "Would you like to go and play in Spain?" And he said he'd find it a privilege or something. Not, I want to go and play in Spain. So you got quoted there, misquoted, but you got quoted.
Do you know what, Dan? 10 out of 10. You're correct anyway. Thank you.
I'm going to stop podcasting right now. My life will never get any better. Goodbye, everyone.
You are my hero. You are my hero.
Oh, steady on.
John, obviously we've got to see Guendouzi develop. As with Torreira, to be fair, for all these players, for Socrates, for Torreira, for Guendouzi, for Lichtsteiner, it's a new league. For Leno as well, sorry. It's a new league. It's going to take them time to adjust, etc. But there are going to be winners and losers along this line.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe Xhaka's place is going to come under threat this season. Okay. I'll give you my reason. I want you to come back on that then. It's more about the reason. I just think the mobility around the park. I mean, Xhaka will give you up and down all day long, in all fairness to him. He's not shy in his work rate there. He'll always do that. But I just see Guendouzi and Torreira as being a bit more mobile around the park. On the diagonal, side to side as well. And I see them as maybe being a little bit more aware. Now, do you think I'm way off piste there, or do you think there could be something there?
No, I mean, Torreira, from obviously watching him at Samp and then seeing him at the World Cup as well, that is his game. He's just covering that defence, covering every blade of grass, running side to side, covering in front of fullbacks, that sort of thing, getting across, breaking up play, reading the passing, that kind of stuff. Guendouzi, I don't know as much about, obviously. I don't think anyone really does. He's looked very good in pre-season. I'm a little bit cautious about him just because when he did lose the ball, he's a little bit unaware of what's around him at times. Like he looks beautiful when he takes the ball, when he turns out and goes past the player, drifts to make a little bit of space, and very Rabiot-like kind of in the way he moves the ball. But he was a couple of times, caught out in possession or giving the ball away in very dangerous areas, which is something obviously that has to be coached out of him. I don't want to get overhyped about the kid because he's so young. Xhaka, yes, he can make mistakes, and he's obviously has made some at Arsenal. But I think that's more down to the system he's played in and the lack of sort of very intensive, detailed coaching that he's got, because that's what he's always used to. And unfortunately, he's one of those idiot footballers who apparently that's the only way he can play. He needs that level of attention. Some people like it, some aren't. That's very Emery in the style of what he does. I think all the videos, stopping the training, saying no, you've got to move like just 1 inch this way or a couple of centimeters, that kind of thing. So I think actually Xhaka will benefit from it, big time. So I don't see him losing out. I still think he'll be first choice. I think Torreira will be, as long as everything works out with his move. You never know, obviously, when a player moves leagues, if it's going to work for them. As for Lichtsteiner, he's old enough and he's played enough football when in the Champions League that it shouldn't be any issue in terms of transition. He should just get it straight away, to be honest. There's not, for a guy that age and with his experience, there really isn't that much of an excuse. And the same goes for Socrates as well. You have to give him a little bit of time just to get used to the pace again, because it is slightly different in terms of the pace of the leagues. But they've both got enough experience to be able to, or at least should be able to fit in quick enough. But yeah, I agree with the other guys. Midfield, I think, is basically done as long as Ramsey stays. I think if the club can get him to sign in the next couple of weeks, or like sometime this week, maybe before the City game, if they did that, I think everyone will come out and they look at this transfer window and go, a little bit disappointed Callum's gone, but actually it's been really good and we've got Ramsey to sign, which was the big thing. I still think we're short one creative player, though, is my concern. I know what you said about the forward line. Alba, Lacazette, that's great. That's wonderful. And I think in the games where you get to play both of them together, they showed that one of them can play wide left, and Alba's fine at doing that. He doesn't mind. They had a little 4-4-2 experiment in the preseason game as well. I know it was Nketiah playing, but clearly those two would be great playing up together. But I don't think, if you've only got Ozil and Mkhitaryan, there's going to be games where you can only play one of them, and I'm not sure that's enough of a creative outlet. Like, our midfielders are all very good functional midfielders. They're not creative midfielders. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And funny enough, I'm going to take that point on to Josh, okay? So, Josh, if we are missing a creative player in midfield, for argument's sake, if you're only playing Ozil or Mkhitaryan, you're playing Aubameyang on the left and Lacazette up top, do you think we need that extra creative player? Or, is it the fact that we are going to need... are we still on?
Yeah, we're on, pal.
Yeah, I think we're back now. It went, the video just went, but if you give it a couple of refreshes, it comes back.
Oh,
Okay.
I was still getting sound. I just wasn't getting faces. So some could say it was an improvement.
Well said.
I thought it was Norwich internet, Christ.
Apologies for that, listeners. It's very sorry about that, but not God knows what's happened. So, is there room in that midfield for another creative midfielder? Or, because if we're going to play City away, for argument's sake, you don't get another creative midfielder. If you're going to, if you're playing West Brom at home and you're going 2 in midfield, you're probably going to go Ramsey because of that attacking threat. And then you're going to go either Torreira or a Xhaka, or maybe a Torreira and Xhaka together. Do you think we have room in the squad for that creative player, or do you agree with John?
I don't think we're short of a creative player, but I think we're short in midfield a little bit. But that's only because I was utilising in my head Ozil and Mkhitaryan out wide, which is why I don't think we're short a wide player. So then we've got enough, because our 3 would always be Ramsey, the more attacking out of it, and then you've got the choice of Xhaka, Elneny, Torreira, Guendouzi, and that's where I thought we needed another, because I think that pool of players needs to be a bit bigger. But we'll see. I think from the last pre-season game, we did see the lineup that I thought we'd see in terms of the front 3 of Ozil, Mkhitaryan, and Aubameyang. No, it didn't work. Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang. They had to switch sides at one point for Ozil to get into the game a bit more, but that's the nature of football, that players sometimes have to switch positions so they can open up the field a bit differently. But that's where I don't think we're short of necessarily creativity, but another player to go into that middle, something like a young prospect. But perhaps we've already got that in Guendouzi coming through, and maybe a Joe Willock if he bulks up a bit, or Maitland-Niles if we give him the time in there. Personally, again, as a player, I'd like to see out wide, but we do have options in the middle, and we can always add the flair and creativity of youth to really supplement anything in there.
In all fairness, if you look at last season performances and you look at pre-season as well, Maitland-Niles is way ahead of any of the other youngsters at the moment. I mean, he's the next man in that midfield, no doubt.
Yeah, I think.
Go on.
I was going to say, I think Reece Nelson as well out in the wide positions. I think he had a very, very good pre-season out on that right flank. So I think we do have an option there, which is why another reason we may not have brought in a wide player was, how we used to say, Wenger doesn't like to block the progress of, the young players coming through. Well, perhaps we're doing exactly the same. It's just a different name in the dugout, and Emery is stopping, not getting in a player that perhaps stops Nelson's development, because I think he did have a really good pre-season.
Do you know what? Okay, this sounds more and more to me like Groundhog Day. Defense for me is a bit shaky. The keeper, there's a few doubts about the new keeper we brought in. We're not blocking Nelson's development.
Hey, but Stadium isn't stopping us buying people like other clubs.
Look, I couldn't give a monkey for another club. I haven't even got the wherewithal to take them piss out of them. I care that little about them. Ellis, one of the signings we haven't spoken about so far, Leno. Big battle this season for the first team goalkeeping squad between him and Cech. What are your thoughts on Leno? Are you kind of happy about him? Concerns have been raised. He looked decent in pre-season, even though it is pre-season. But are you happy with the signing? Are you happy with what he can bring with this sort of sweeper keeper role? And who do you think is going to win that sort of goalkeeping spot?
I'll be honest, I didn't know much about him before he joined Arsenal. I've watched a few pre-season games. I've done my YouTube scouting when we found out about him. And there was, when he initially signed, I was a bit worried because there was a few howlers in there. I think one was when he was playing for Germany and one of the random cups they do. When they've won the World Cup, and that wasn't great. But from what I've seen of him in pre-season, he's looked all right. He's obviously got that, like you say, the sweeper keeper mould that Emery seems to prefer. So I can see him definitely taking the number one spot off Cech eventually. I think the start of the season we'll see Cech between the sticks, who also I thought didn't have a very bad pre-season. I thought he was quite good in Dublin against Chelsea, made some key saves, even managed to save some penalties in pre-season, which is something we haven't seen him do for a long time. So I think the start of the season, especially against Man City, we'll probably see Cech in between the sticks. But I can see Leno sort of making that spot his own if he can manage to put a good few strings together. But we've mentioned the defence looks a bit shaky. He's definitely going to be tested. If you're a new guy coming into a new league, the last thing you want is to have a shaky defence in front of you. But we've mentioned how good the midfield looks. They've brought in players that we potentially missed in seasons gone that can hopefully try and protect that back four a bit more, and then in turn protect the keeper, stop the shots coming in. Obviously, Josh likes to make fun out of De Gea and say how he's not a world-class keeper. He's just got a good, solid defence in front of him, which makes him look better. Hopefully, we can do the same for Leno. I doubt it, but maybe he might make himself look good with some good saves if he is under the cosh a lot, because our defence and midfield aren't protecting him as much as they should.
It's going to be interesting to see the development there, isn't it? I know I'm really kind of excited about that side of it.
He's young in terms of goalkeeping, so he's got a lot of time to progress and grow and learn. And so hopefully, maybe if not this season, in a couple of seasons' time, we'll have a very astute goalkeeper on our hands. But we'll see. So we'll get to wait and see what happens.
And he's got a good role model there in Cech as well to bring him through.
Exactly.
For those final development roles, you got a great mentor, and hopefully the goalkeeping coach will be top notch. Might I say, Ellis, with a rather smart cap there, you're reminding me of a certain personality from an Arsenal fan media outlet.
Oh, I'm glad you noticed. You can call me Mr. EM. I will be appearing on my video blogs during every game outside the Emirates. So make sure you tune in for that.
Actually, I'm going to call you Mr. It's not all about me and Mr. I don't talk shit. That's a compliment to you.
Well, bloody hell.
Danny.
Hell, there's a pig flying outside that window somewhere. Christ.
Dan, What are your feelings about the transfer window as a whole, Dan? I mean, you've done what 6 years of these shows now. From the start of the podcast, is it a little bit Groundhog Day? And we've addressed certain issues, but
we have to stop. Someone's paying some money.
Whoa!
We slam the brakes on and we acknowledge their wonderful deed.
Arian, do you realise, Arian, the gentleman's name, Arian Hidari. Okay, you are a rock star. He's donated some cash, $5. We're loving you. We're loving you, mate. We absolutely love you.
25p.
Okay. And do you realise the name for money in Welsh is Arian? So you are Mr. Money. Thank you ever so much, pal. We really appreciate that. And yeah, you're a star. Just thank you very much.
Put a smile on Jace's face, and who could have thought that this morning?
Tell me about it. I was fuming at 5 o'clock. I really was. I'm not a happy bunny, but there you go. Okay, these Greek philosophers will do that to you. So let's get back to it. Thank you, Arian. It's really appreciated. You're an absolute star, mate. Thank you so much.
Look what people can buy. Don't shake your boobs, dear.
Yeah, I shouldn't do that.
Turn around. Have you got knickers on?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Look at that.
I don't know where I am. I must be behind on this. I don't know what's going on here.
Look at the screen we're on, you tit. Oh.
I don't know. Oh,
Jason.
Sorry, Sean. Hi, Sean. You okay?
He says, "Are you okay?" Jason says,
I'm good, thank you.
Good girl. Good.
This is Sean Chatbox. Anyone not watching live, this is what you miss out on. Complete car crash radio. Jason doesn't know what's going on.
By the way, 34 comes in.
Yeah, Chatbox. That's a friend of mine. Be nice.
That's my daughter. Nice. He's very nice.
Yeah, I will.
You wear a hat, John. You wear a hat like that. The correct way round.
Yeah, that's it.
One of the 90s.
Yeah.
Go on, Jason. What was your question?
Does this feel a bit like Groundhog Day? I think we've made 4 really, really good signings. I'm really happy with Leno, really happy with Lichtsteiner, really happy with Torreira, over the moon with Guendouzi, and yet Socrates sours it for me, and I just feel we've let ourselves down as a club again. Do you feel the same way, or are you on the more positive slant?
I haven't seen him enough to know whether he's brilliant or not. I am a Dortmund fan. I saw him play a few games last season. Everybody was shit for Dortmund last season. And I wasn't happy with the way Ozil played last season. But it's a new season. It's a new manager. It's a new tactics. It's a new Arsenal era. Every single player at the club gets a fresh start from me. So I'll make my opinion on him once he's played a few games. And then if he is brilliant, then I will not say anything to you, and behind your back I will tweet people and let them know. And if he is shit, then I'll go, Jason, you were right.
Mate, look, I got to be honest here. I hope he proves me wrong.
We all hope that, because it means we'll be good.
Yeah. I genuinely hope Socrates becomes an absolute star in this team. I would love nothing more than me to be so badly wrong. I have the Mickey taken for years to come. I just think there's no hope of that whatsoever.
Well, someone asked a good question earlier. I'll put it in there, but you were busy ranting at Ellis for being a tit. He says, from DRK Druid, might be Dark Druid, if Ramsey does not sign, should he still play in the first 11? Was that it? No, that's nothing to do with this, is it? No, someone asked, here we go. John put it in there from Mike. He says, would you have rather kept Ospina as backup to check and brought in a better centre-back than Socrates for 40 million quid? Socrates.
Right, so I'll correct Danny on too. So it's Socrates he was talking about, and the question was from Mayank, not Mike.
No, Mike says we can call him Mike.
Oh, does he? Oh, okay.
Months ago.
Mayank's a star. Look, I'd probably have done that. I genuinely would probably have done that. I'd have gone for a quality centre back first and foremost, because I still think Czech is a very good keeper, but it's an issue we'd have had to address down the line again. I just think, I think it's you're asking the keepers to keep goal with one arm tied behind their backs with this defence at the moment, and that's my concern.
Well, would you have had Godin? Because Man United, his release clause at Atletico is 26.5 million, and they offered him 7.5 million pound per season wages. Well, should we have gone for something like that? Would you have been happy with him?
Look,
He's 32.
I'd have loved Godin at the club. I think he'd have done a job, A, setting the tone for the defence, B, helping these young players develop. But more to the point, and C, is he'd have settled us down on the pitch because he knows ultimately what he's doing. You know, great communication, great attitude towards defending, and he's a typical Uruguayan defender, a dirty git, which I like. You know what I mean? I think he'd have brought all those things that we did need to the club, you know, rather than we've got a guy who doesn't do any of it. You know, good in the air, good with ball at feet, good distribution, great in the tackle, good at interception. Whoa, Gooners in the USA. Well, actually, that's a great point. Gooners in the USA just donated $4.99. I love the fact it's $4.99. That's superb. And obviously, Gooners in the USA are back this week. They've got their new podcast out, and they're currently running their fundraiser for Gooners versus Cancer. This is an issue close to Mike and Andy's heart. Mike unfortunately lost his father to cancer, so please support them, guys. Gooners in the USA. You can find them on iTunes. You can find them on YouTube. All podcast platforms. They're out there. They're good friends of ours. I think we're doing a podcast with them this Tuesday, Dan.
Yeah, that money that they've just given us, we'll donate it back to them, but it's because we can't take money when they're doing that for raising a good cause. Yeah, I'm just trying to find
chuck a few more quid there.
Of course we will.
But please support Gooners in the USA, guys. You know, we all know people who've suffered from through cancer via either having it or via their family members having it. It's a great, it's just a great thing to do. So have a go at that. But Mike, as usual, you're a star. Thank you, mate. I just think with Godin, he brings all those attributes which we were crying out for. I don't see Socrates bringing any of it, unfortunately. But having said that, let's hope I'm wrong. You know, I pray to God I'm wrong, but I just don't think I am. John, Leno, for you, you know, you watch a lot. No, you didn't watch any German football last season, did you?
I didn't really get to see a lot last season, no, hardly any, to be honest. I was still firmly in my Serie A train, though.
You are absolutely crap. Absolutely crap. You know, do you know what I mean? You know, I you bring you on as the German football expert. You know, a big Leverkusen fan.
Gladbach. Oh, you done that on purpose. As soon as I wanted to bite, I looked and then I realised, no, he's winding me up.
Winner, chicken dinner. He nibbled at that, people. He nibbled at that.
Damn it.
I love this. Okay, so let's not talk about Leno. Well, no, actually, stick on Leno. Your thoughts on him. I mean, you know, Ellis mentioned earlier on the you know, a couple of clangers that he's dropped, etc. But all keepers drop clangers. I remember Seaman's clangers. You know, Seaman dropped more than his fair share of clangers. You know, every great keeper does. You know, give me your lowdown on Leno.
I mean, like I said, I didn't really watch. I think maybe I saw 2 games last season of Bundesliga. I just didn't have the time to watch it. But I'd seen him previously. I spoke to Drew, who I'm sure everyone knows on Twitter, Andrew Thompson, who previously used to write blogs for us here. ABW, who's a big Bundesliga fan. Spoke to some other people on Twitter who I, you know, really appreciate their views on Germany and German football. They were cautious, but the thing they said, it was concentration issues. It wasn't a skill level. It wasn't you know, they all said good shot stopper, good with his feet, good distribution. And that's what we've seen in pre-season, I think. You've seen some really good passing out, and a couple of times he's been put under too much pressure from some of our defenders, but he's dealt with it really well, which is impressive. And his passing range looks very good. And if it is just concentration levels, then that's a coaching issue. That's something you can coach. That's something you can do. If you get to 26 years old as a goalkeeper and you've still got fundamental goalkeeping like issues, basic skill issues, positioning, that kind of thing, it's harder to get that out of your system at that age than something like concentration. So, you know, I for me, it's a good signing. I think it's pushed Czech as well. You know, he looked, again, it's pre-season, so it's hard to tell, but he looked better. He looked physically better as well, in shape. He was getting down quicker, I thought. You know, Peyton's gone and Czech was clearly not happy with him either. I think that's a big sign. The fact he's got someone pushing him. So, yeah, I'm really happy. I mean, all the signings we made, Socrates, I'm like, meh about, you know, but again, I think it's time to...
We'll come back to those. We're going to come back to those in a second now, and then we're going to go to questions. But I will say, you know, competition is everything for these guys. You know, these are professional footballers. They're competitors. They'll react well to competition within the squad. I think it'll bring out the best of them. You know, so that hopefully will be the case. Right, okay. Before we go to Josh now, I'd like to address the chat box. Chat box. I've only got 35 likes. What do you think this is? A charity? The charity is Gooners versus Cancer, not us. Give me my likes, please. Come on. You know, I'm not happy today. I was told as we were going live, I'm hosting, no preparation, and I'm still here for you. Come on, guys. Let's get that like button going. Oh, my God, Kris the Dato. Ellis, you're screwed. Kris the Dato's just donated $10 to mute you for the rest of the show.
It's too late. He already left.
Where's he gone?
He did say he had to go.
Yeah. Kids are over.
Oh, there you go. Kris, funny. That's how good we are, okay? That's how good we are. I didn't even notice he'd gone, okay?
Kris, it's your own fault for not paying attention to the show.
Plays,
10 minutes.
We've got our ABW pro FIFA Pro stuff, and Kris plays in the same team as us. Anybody who gives any money, we're going to give all the money from tonight's show. We're going to give to the Gooners in the USA thing. So I mean, they do take 33% of the money if you donate it here, but it's not our money. Yeah. So anybody who gives anything, I think we should give it all to the Gooners in the USA. The Gooners Against Cancer thing. That's a good thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think
absolutely.
That's
we don't really need your money, and that's a really worthy cause. But we're doing a podcast with them, like Jay said, on Tuesday. It'll be a crossover like the one we did with Same Old Arsenal, and you'll hear more about what they're doing for that podcast too. In that podcast.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. Right, guys, I've still only got 53 likes. Come on, chop, press the button. Let's go. Also, right, guys, for you, those of you not listening on YouTube, if you're listening on iTunes or whatever platform it is, thank you for your support. As usual, you're absolutely superb. And we're always, I say this every time, we're always blown away by it. We just can't believe anybody bothers to listen to us. So thank you very much. If you do want to get involved in the chat, we are going live after every single competitive game this season. We're going to start off on Sunday. On Sunday, about 5 minutes after the Man City game's over, there's myself, John, Aussie Dom, and Chris Carpenter. We're going live then. Then the week after, when we've got Chelsea on the Saturday, it's myself. I'm sure we'll have Ellis or Josh, and we'll have a great lineup for you. Live after every single show this season. We're not going to miss a beat. If you want to join us, if you want to get involved in the chat box, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click on the bell notification on our page, and you'll be made aware of whenever we're going live. Okay? Come and join us. Love to have you there. Look forward to it. As I say, there's the podcast out this week that Danny and Carl did with Lee and Craig from Same Old Arsenal. Really good listen. Some really good points made by the boys. Give it a whirl. And this Tuesday coming up, myself and Danny and Mike and Andy from Gooners in the USA will be doing one. And there's a couple more lined up with some other podcasts.
Yeah,
it's all Danny's
Arsenal Vision, which I'm going to try and get one of our North American lot. That's going to be, what's his name? He says in his podcast, I'm Thingy Bob, and you can, Elliot, and you can block me on Twitter. So Elliot's going to come on, and one other from there. And then we're lining up one with the Highbury squad, which is Amanda and Sophie. And I think there might be one other, but yeah, it's just nice to do some crossovers so each other can meet each other's listeners, and yeah, it's just nice. It's good to be nice to other podcasts, isn't it, Jace?
Yeah, it is. It is, mate. It is. It's it's a podcast, loving.
It
God
certainly
help us.
is. New
So Josh
season.
coming. Shut up, Tart.
Sorry.
Josh, coming to you, mate. Your overall feelings on this season, on this transfer window. I want you to give marks at a 10 for it.
I'm pretty happy about it. I will go with a 9 out of 10.
And your
what we've
marks
covered.
and your marks for Socrates?
I'm going to go with Danny, and I'm going to sit on the fence at the moment with him. I think, to be honest, I think he is more of like a dark horse. We've only seen him play. He's played with, 2 centre-backs in pre-season. Mavropanos, which is where they looked more solid, and they played, 35 minutes, 60 minutes with him and Mustafi at the moment. That is kind of worrying that they haven't played more together. So I'll be intrigued to see how we line up against Man City. Probably just all our defenders. But I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. And I think, he's just there to prove you wrong. That's his job now. Don't care what else he does for the Arsenal. Prove you wrong.
I got to be honest with you, and I hope he does.
First clean sheet, he's taking his shirt off and it says, Jace, that's for you, you mug.
I would love it. I'd absolutely love it. Dan, your marks are a 10 for this transfer window and overall feelings.
Normally, as the Arsenal way, you don't go and spend an absolute fortune on players in the January transfer window. So the Mkhitaryan and the Aubameyang deals, which are probably best part of £100 million worth of players, that I'm going to include that as in the new Arsenal way of doing stuff. And so that, and plus they've had half a season to work together, and we saw how magnificent the Aubameyang was. So you take that into consideration, because that really is what it was. The Socrates thing, that was done before the new manager took over. That had already been in place, just they didn't announce it because of the financial reasons in Germany. I think they wanted to count it towards the balance of the next season. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 as well, maybe even a little bit more, because having the strike force that we now have, and I would like to include Lacazette in that, but that's been a bit cheeky going that far back. But the whole way that everything's falling together, and we have got so many young, brilliant players coming through the youth academy, and we're going to see quite a few of those playing this season. I'm going to give it a 9. I am absolutely delighted with it. The only way it could have been better is I'm going to have to agree with you and say I maybe would have liked someone of the calibre of Godin, who is a world-class centre-back. I mean, he may be 32, maybe only have 2 or 3 really good seasons left in him. But I think that kind of thing is the kind of thing that will shut you moaning up about it for 5 minutes. So, yeah, I'll have to agree with you there.
To every listening, Daddy's got a good point. I haven't stopped moaning about Socrates since he's arrived.
You're the only one at ABW's not happy. The other 15 of us are over the bloody moon. You're dragging us down.
Well, you're all wrong.
Sorry, I didn't think of that. We're all wrong.
I'm sorry, but I'm just a beacon of football knowledge. So I can't even take myself seriously saying that. I do apologise. John, give me a mark out of 10, pal, and let me know what you think.
Before I do that, Oscar Arias, you always get a shout out. You never have to ask. Billy Butler, thank you very much for watching every single show today.
Billy, you star.
Yeah, and also Stan the Man just put in a very funny story. You just definitely cheer Jason up. Man United fans have set up a GoFundMe page to raise 12 million to pay Jose to leave. Which is amazing.
That's
it wouldn't surprise me. The marks out of 10, I'm gonna go like 7.5. It would be an 8. I'd give it an 8. I'd go as far as an 8.5 if it wasn't for the fact that apparently Ospina is only going on loan. We're not selling him. So he's grinding out another year of technically being an Arsenal player.
Genuinely, who's going to buy him? Who's going to spend money on the bin man?
But no, in all seriousness, no, it has been a very good window. Socrates, I don't know. I'm hoping that Emery can turn it around and coach a bit more discipline into him. But yeah, we'll see. I think overall it's been a decent start, new era and everything else. We were never going to get everything fixed in one window. It's going to take time. But then again, if Ramsey signs tomorrow, mate, it's a 10. It's 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Look, the Ramsey situation, I think we've done that to death. Okay, you know, we are where we are with it. It's down to the club to go and make this happen now, because otherwise he's going to be gone next season. And you know, if we're going to lose him for nothing, which will happen, you know, we're not. You know, I can't see us doing what we did with Sanchez and Mkhitaryan again. I think we got a bit lucky there, you know. But you know, I genuinely think, you know, it's down to the club now to just put up and stop messing about. You know, let's be honest. It's, for as much as I'm annoyed with Socrates, okay, and as much as I hope he proves me wrong, I really do. I think it has been a very good transfer window in respect of the quality of youngsters that we brought through in Guendouzi, Leno, and Torreira. And I really like the experience Lichtsteiner brings to that back division. I really think, you know, he can do a job in mentoring these youngsters and to helping us defend more as a unit. So, you know, yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. If Rambo signs, it'll be a 9 out of 10. If we'd have had Godin instead of Socrates, it'd have been a 10 out of 10. But there you go. Nicky, swap Ramsey for Pogba in January. Why would we give Man United the better deal, part of the deal? Why would we do that?
Oh, that's harsh.
We could give him El Neni.
Bro, I'm just going on. Do you know what? That's the first time El Neni and Iwobi been mentioned tonight. No,
I mentioned El Neni. When I was about midfield covers.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I do apologise.
Oh, Jason.
Come on, let's do questions, because I've got to get out and take the dog.
Yeah. Let's get the questions then, guys. Let's get the questions. Okay. I haven't looked at much today. Okay, let's go to you, Josh. DK Drew would ask, if Ramsey does not sign, should he still play in the first 11 this season?
Yeah, don't cut your nose off to spite your face. It's the best way to describe that.
We're a far, far better team when he plays on.
Exactly. You know, if there was the issue like we had last year with Alexis, well, Alexis was more detrimental to our play for the latter part of that season when we were still at the club. So it's a different situation. I think Ramsey, he's not got the same kind of ego that Alexis had and would be. If he does start causing an issue and we need to take him out of the squad for the better of the team, then fine, do it. But whilst he's still doing what I think he's going to do, and what I believe he'll do for the club, then yeah, we'll play him. Get him what we can while we still got him. Wring him dry.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, I've always wanted us to sit somebody in the stand for a season and screw him, you know. But I've got to be honest, too, on our performances last season with him in a team as opposed to without him in a team, we just can't afford to do it. We just can't. But Danny, Pete Coulson asks, is Joel Campbell still with us, or has he gone out on yet another loan deal?
I've had a whisper that he's about to do his 300th loan spell whilst at Arsenal. So yeah, I think he's learned to some team near Plymouth, the something Pirates. Yeah, he's gonna go there, and he's gonna be knee deep in mud, and he'll be running them ragged.
He's not gonna get in the Barbican Pirates. Callum Knight will ruin him.
Oh, Callum, my favourite. Callum Knight, Barbican Pirates legend. He's already made it clear. He's made a statement, or his agent made a statement saying that he is not going out on loan again because he's had a couple of decent loans, and I think 4 of the other loans are an absolute waste of bloody time. Last season, he spent most of it injured at a shit team in La Liga. So, no, either play him or let him go. It's if you love him, let him go.
Okay. Pete Coulson asks again, John, now we have signed some naughty boys who can put it about a bit. Are we in danger of getting red, yellow cards galore and see dirty Arsenal shame football headlines?
I don't know, maybe. If we do, brilliant. That's fine with me. I've got absolutely no issue with players getting bookings or getting sent off if they do it at the right time, at sensible times in games. If they know this kind of foul is only going to get me a 1-game ban, and the next game is against, I don't know, what's one of the promoted teams, Cardiff, something like that. You know,
I hate Cardiff City.
yeah, you know, so that's fine as long as they don't do it 10 minutes in a game, 10 minutes into a game, you know, in the, you know, North London derby, something like that. Then I haven't got a problem. I will take a 10 minutes into the game red card if like Lichtsteiner just wants to walk up to Dele Alli and just knock him spark out in the middle of the pitch. I'll be like, yeah, violent conduct, you know, FA disciplinary meeting, 10-game ban, fine. I'll take that. Right, I'll take back everything I ever said about him being slow and being a little bit worried about the fast pace in the Premier League. He can have a 10-game ban for that. I'll pay his fine. I'll work the next 20 years. I'll work the next 20 years to get a bonus to pay his fine. You know, that'd be amazing. I'll take that all day.
I think Alex Song is on a free at the moment. So, Alex, if you want to worm your way back into the hearts of Gooners, you know.
But yeah, we used to be proud of that. You know, Vieira and everyone else. We used to get red cards all the time. It's great.
Played better when we were down to 8 men.
Yeah, perfect. Nothing wrong with it.
Okay, Josh. Andy Collins asks, do you expect Bowles to have more influence on the defence now?
Yeah, I think so. Although seeing his how our defence has been in pre-season, perhaps he was had more on the defence from last season as well, because we haven't been great. Put it that way. We haven't been great. So maybe he was talking about maybe he was sorting our defence out under Wenger, and it was all a lie.
The 3 hours a day of defence training.
Yeah, the 3 hours. Turns out he's just a shit coach.
I can imagine Arsene every night. I have to protect Steve Bold. He's a club legend.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's an awful coach.
Oh, I love it.
Ellis has said that he's got the girls sorted now. He's coming back on. So when he comes back, and we just mute him for the rest of the time he's on.
Should we just leave? Should we finish it before that?
Yeah, let's get through these questions quickly, okay?
Don't be horrible to him. You know he's fragile.
Right. Football Einsteins asks, this one's to me, Jason, do you have any faith that Emery can get more to Socrates than we have already seen? Football Einsteins, I have as much faith, okay, in Emery getting more to Socrates as I do in God. None. Okay?
Even.
To any of those of you who are believers,
all religions are welcome in ABW.
Yep. Especially my one, the Viking one. Oh, look who
look
who it is, Jace.
Ellis, how are you?
I've only come back.
Ellis.
No, you got to mute him. You're not allowed to speak. Sorry.
No,
Mute him.
Fuck Kris Lodato.
Otherwise, let's give Kris his money back.
Just for him.
Sorry, let me just finish it up.
Kris.
all faiths and religions are welcome. You believe what you want. I don't. Okay. No, I just can't see it. I don't think you can coach anything into fat, slow, and can't turn. That's true.
Not playing, am I? What?
Danny, I'd play you ahead of Socrates. That's how little faith I have in him.
Danny, you can turn 50 pence in that chair.
Oh, fucking on the other electric one, I could. I'd play you like a violin, Jace.
I tell you what, he can turn in a 50 pence, but he can't bend and pick one up, can he?
No, not with my knees. No, actually, my knees are fine. They're very, very low mileage. My knees, they're as good as new. They're very low mileage.
One careful lady owner.
That's it. Only went to church on a Sunday. That's too religious for references. Sorry, people.
I used to go to church. I used to when I was a kid. Yeah.
Right.
And yes, Ellis. Let's have Ellis back, please. Kris, sorry, you know we're not going to do that all day.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
Sorry, Gooders in the USA asks, "How glad am I that we're doing Tuesday night podcast? That we're doing the Tuesday podcast at night? I won't be blind. Oh, that's not for you. Sorry, I haven't read any of these beforehand. I do apologise.
Great question, though.
I know. I'm shit. Sorry. Arsenic Gunner and Case asks, is the away form the only problem we need to sort out? Bearing in mind we reached the EFL Cup final, Europa League semis, and a joint best home record.
So I zoned out.
We should have muted
right,
him.
I'll answer that, Gunner. I'm not asking him twice.
I was too busy looking at all the shit in the chat box that I've got from everyone. It's all their fault.
I don't care. Yeah, but it is really, isn't it? Our home form last season was superb. If we can keep that going through, that would be great. But we do need to improve our defence. But as I said on previous shows, there are easy wins in our away form. You know, you get those 5 wins, those 3 draws, whatever you need, and all of a sudden your league position, you know, you're second in the table last season. So that was the big issue for us. So, you know, we have to look at that and really be mindful of the fact, you know, you have to work to improve your home form, because it's going to be a stronger league again this season. That's the way it goes. But yeah, you know, the away form is the big issue. But having remembered Emery's league form at Sevilla in his last season, it wasn't great, was it? So fingers crossed. Russ Morgan asks, El, this is to you.
I'm listening.
Concentrate. Engage, please. Okay. Russ Morgan asks, which player do you think will have a breakout year?
Sorry, what? I'm joking. I listened. I don't know. I'm not going to say that word because that's naughty. It's difficult. I think Xhaka, like I was saying earlier in the pod, with the sort of midfielders that we've got, might be able to have like a breakthrough year. In terms of the youngsters, Nelson had a good pre-season, didn't he? So, and we haven't got the sort of, I know Josh has mentioned that we're probably going to play Mkhitaryan and Ozil out wide, but for me, they're not like proper wingers you have off a whip. I think Nelson might get a good shout, and I think judging from his pre-season form, if he gets like sort of good run in the League Cup games, and potentially obviously the start of the Europa League, I think he could pick up some form and do quite well. So from the youngsters' point of view, I'd probably go Nelson in terms of like the already sort of set starters or first 11 sort of squad. I think Xhaka might have a good year, and obviously with Aubameyang, I think he'll bang in the goals now for a full season.
Cool. And I think Socrates will have a breakout year. I've got to be nice to him sooner or later. I've got to be nice to him sooner or later. Danny, Sidu7549 asks, Torreira, Ramsey, Xhaka, midfield for the City game. What do you think?
Who am I going to pick for my midfield?
Yeah.
So Ozil playing behind the front 3. I think you have to fight fire with fire when you're playing against these fuckers. We found out last season that the more you try and hold the ball up and defend, the more they'll rip you apart eventually. So I think strap your boots on, put your big hat on, and off you go, knee deep into the fight. So I would have Ozil playing behind the front 3, and then in the midfield I'm going to have Torreira at the back, covering the back 4, and then hold on, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, I'm not picking 13 players again. I've done that a few times.
I know.
In midfield, I'm probably going to go with.
You only had to pick 3 in the first place. You didn't have to do the whole team.
I know. I'm just pointing out the obvious because I'm just bitter. I'm going to play Ramsey because we need to show Ramsey that we still love him. We want him to stay, and then we're going to have to play. So have I picked Ramsey, Torreira, and Ozil? Is that the 3? 3,
yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's it. Then I was going to pick another one. Fuck it, throw Guendouzi on there as well. We'll play with 12. They'll never notice.
Well, Ramsey won't be available anyway because he's not fit, is he? So
he's back. Yeah, they did a thing. He said
he's in training, isn't he?
Yeah, he'll be fit.
Well, my point is, I don't want to play Guendouzi in a game like that. I think he'd be brilliant as coming off as a sub for maybe the last half an hour. So is El Neni back?
Yeah, El Neni almost certainly play because he's played every pre-season game.
Good.
He is one of those one.
See, I haven't watched any of the pre-season games because they're boring. I've got better things to do with my time. So,
like sleep.
Yeah, so it's going to be Torreira, El Neni, and Ozil. And if I can sneak Guendouzi on without anyone noticing, that's what we're doing.
Now that Josh has said El Neni will definitely play, expect El Neni not even to be on the subs bench.
He's gone out on loan.
You know, it's always the way. Last question. Oh, God. I'm going to ask you a question, John. I can't think of one. I'm done.
I'll answer Arian's because he asked 2 and it was both relating to Steve.
Yeah, sorry, that's it. That's it. Arian asks, John, how many kidneys would you donate to have Milan Skriniar at the Arsenal?
Well, there's Danny. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. Is there 16 of us at ABW?
I don't even know who you're talking about. Who is this person? There is, 16.
Yeah, 16 of us. So Arian, I would give 15. So one of my own, everyone else's because I don't care about them, and I'd have Skriniar all day long. Yeah, definitely. He did also. He's the Inter Milan centre back that we signed last season. Who's basically he's like the new coming of Vidic.
Oh, hello.
He's a monster. He's an absolute monster. Yeah. But yeah, I'd have him in a heartbeat.
Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah, I'd donate all those guys their kidneys. They'd be up for it. They wouldn't. I'd just take them all out for a drink. They'd wake up in the ice bath in the morning. They'd be fine.
How do you know we've all got 2?
Some might have 3. That could be how far.
I am from Norwich. You never know. Instead of
yeah, actually, -2 off that because Ellis's will be webbed in some way because everything in Oh dear.
Jesus, I tell you what. Okay, this pod tonight didn't start well. It's gotten continually worse, and now we've hit the depths. Okay,
It was right until Ellis come back. We were flowing along lovely.
No, we weren't. This has been an absolute disaster. Car crash podcasting. I love it. Final question. Gooners in the USK asks, Jace, how do you feel about Gary Marbut these days? I think he's the biggest. I hate him. But there you go. Sorry, I'm not swearing tonight. Well, I'm not swearing much more than I have.
For a more graphic answer, looked forward to our podcast with Gooners in the USA coming soon next week.
Yeah. He's a big see you next Tuesday, and that is it. End of story. That's it, guys. That's it for tonight. It was a bit of a washout. Danny, a big thank you to all the guys who appeared with us today. Could you reel them off, please?
Luckily, I'm organised. We have Matt, Santi in Australia, Ryan in USA, Briggsy in Spain, Stuart in England, Richard in England, Matt in England, Kris in England, Ryan in the USA, Andrew in England, Ryan again in the USA, Nicky in Norwich, who had a lovely accent he had, Geoffrey, who was brilliant in the USA, and Mark, Santi Cathola, he was in England, and Kris, our official ABW wrestler, was also up north. So there you go, 14 people. It's a wonderful day, and as everyone knows, we keep saying it.
Ryan.
I've mentioned 2 Ryans.
Stefan's been generous, just to let you know.
Did you mention Kris?
Whoa.
We had 3 Ryans on today. Fucking hell. Is anyone in America called Ryan? Can somebody confirm this? Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, there you go. Everyone's called Ryan.
Big thank you to Stefan Selby, who's just donated £20. Thanks so much, Steph. That's going to go straight into the money we've already received tonight. So that's also Chris Lodato, Arian Hadari as well. All that money is going to the Gooners versus Cancer campaign that Gooners in the USA are running. So thank you very much for that, Stefan. That's a fantastic donation.
It is.
But yeah, everyone in the chat box, go check that out. Gooners in the USA and their money they're raising for cancer, and anyone who's listening later as well. Definitely go and help those guys out. It's fantastic cause.
Yeah, I got to be honest with Steph's been a big supporter of ours from the off, and he blows me away. You guys always blow me away with your generosity and your support. It's genuinely is awe-inspiring. Thank you ever so much.
Fly pigeon is
Whoa! That fly pigeon's just gone and bagged the 5. Whoa! I tell you what.
This is costing us. It's costing us money, Jace, because we don't get that £5. YouTube take 33% of it, but we'll still pay exactly however much you put in. We'll make it the right amount.
Yeah, look, Dan, do we really give a damn?
No, not really.
We don't, do we? We
No.
don't do
We're
it. We don't give a
millionaires,
damn.
Jace.
We're not millionaires. We're not even
also,
clever. Never mind.
Stan in there has tried to pay some money, and Stan's had a couple of shandies tonight, so it's 3 sheets to the wind, and he keeps trying to do it, but it says invalid payment. So Stan gets a nod from us anyway for trying to do it. So,
I need to apologise to
Stan.
Stan as well because I accidentally muted him and kicked him out when I watched one of the shows.
Oh, Jesus wept.
Sorry, Stan.
Man, we love you. We love you, Stan. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, look, guys. Okay, so at the moment, the content available out there. You know, thank you to all the guys who've taken part today. It's fantastic to have you on. It's fantastic, you know, that you're able to come on and be part of this. It really means a lot to us. We have all today's transfer deadline day shows. We have the same old Arsenal podcast that we did with them, that Carl and Danny did with Lee and Craig on this week sometime. Thursday, was it?
What day did we do? I've lost track. Days mean nothing to
It
me.
was Thursday, I think.
Yeah, it's
No,
good.
it was.
Oh, that's today's Thursday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
They did it.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't
The
know
other
what
one
that
that
is.
begins with T. Jesus.
Guys, it's been one of those weeks. Okay? So that's all there for you to listen to. You've also got next week with the Gooners in the USA, with Mike and Andy, myself and Danny will be doing a podcast. Then on Sunday, we have the kickoff of the season. Live show 5 minutes after the game. We're there. Come and join us. The more the merrier. You know, we appreciate all your support. Then there's the podcast Thursday. Then we have the Chelsea show after that, and there will be, I'd say, the other podcasts we're doing with other podcasts as we go along. But that's it for tonight. My thanks to everybody in the chat box. My thanks to everybody who's listening on iTunes or whatever. Thank you ever so much. Thank you, Josh. Superb tonight.
Thanks, Jace. I thought I was pretty good too.
Yeah, well done. Ellis, a big thank you for coming, leaving, coming back.
Thank you for having me. I thought I had a really good time, especially that period when I wasn't on here getting bullied and having abuse thrown at me. But other than that, I had a lovely time. Fuck Kris.
Superb, pal. Superb, pal. You know, you even with our hat on and looking like who you look like, you know, you are quite superb. Danny, thank you as ever, mate. Superb tonight.
Yeah, I've lost the will to live. I've talked more bollocks today than I talk most shows, and that's saying something. Thanks to everyone who joined us today, all 14 of you, and Steve and Kris. Steve had hosted 2 shows and was a guest on another one. So yeah, without Steve's help, I'd have been knackered now.
Yeah, big shout out to Steve and well done, Kris. You know, again, all the guys want to take part, and you know, it's just brilliant to be able to do this with you. And John, thank you very much, mate. Good to speak to you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jace. Looking forward to starting our long distance relationship back up on Sunday. We'll be seeing each other at least twice a week, no doubt.
Do you know
by Christmas.
It comes to the time, okay? It gets to that time of season where around about late November, Ellis and Carl are on shifts. They can't make it. Josh is climbing somewhere in an indoor facility. Danny can't be bothered. He's had a guts full. The rest of the guys have got a life, and it's just going to be me and you, pal. And that's the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jace, we should also say thank you to Jason for deciding to host the show 2 minutes after it started.
I didn't know we were hosting the show until 2 minutes after it started.
You're too busy going on about gay rights, Thomas.
Oh, yeah. Well, big shout out to Gay Ryan Thomas as well. You were a legend.
Sounds like it.
That's it for tonight, guys. Not the greatest transfer deadline day ever, but hey, it's been a decent transfer window. Let's hope Socrates becomes the best centre-back in the Premier League history, and we'll be all right. Danny, switch this off.